Hello, this is Gator at Defiance Illusion. How you doing today? Today I wanted to talk on Dio, Ronnie James Dio, the musical legend. Um, I guess best place to start with him is at the beginning. He played with a group of guys that called themselves Elf. He actually started in bebop. Most people don't know that. Doo wop or doo wop. Um, early on in his very beginning of his career, and then he went over to rock and roll with Elf, and I believe they produced one or two albums, and then he went from that to basically Black Sabbath, from my understanding, and he was Ozzy's replacement. Now we got to remember. I know there's a lot of Ozzy fans out here. I'm one of them. I'm one of them. Love Ozzy, but Ozzy back then, I don't know about now, but back then he had a major problem with booze. You know. Anyway, so Tony Iommi and the other boozaholics decided, okay, we'll get rid of the one guy, but put the blame on him. So they fired Ozzy. Now I know a lot of people say, "Oh man, that's just wrong," and all. You know, Ozzy was messing up. They all were. It's always easier to put the guy up front and blame him for everything, if you will. And that's what they did. And Don Harding had already met Dio, so it was kind of like a shift in power, so to say, bringing in a new voice. Personally, I think Dio with Black Sabbath was better than Ozzy with Black Sabbath. I know a lot of people's going to stone me on that, but I do. I believe Dio was much better with Black Sabbath. Dio, he was much better, in my opinion. He had Heaven and Hell, that like overshadowed everything Ozzy done. Um, and then, of course, Dio after Black, in between his stints with Black Sabbath, because it's like they went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth throughout a couple of decades there, or a few decades actually. Dio also had his own band, which he started with Vivian Campbell. Very smart move. And Dio did the same thing Ozzy did, and he had some phenomenal hits. Last in Line, Rainbow in the Dark, Holy Diver, um, Stand Up and Shout, We Rock, I Speed at Night, Don't Talk to Strangers, Killing the Dragon. I mean, you know, uh, then there was Dream Evil. I forget what guitarist that was. There was Dream Evil, and there was Lock Up the Wolves, and oh man, just Sacred Heart. Just phenomenal music. And Dio really came into his own by himself, and then he kept going back to Black Sabbath, performing with them, recording with them. So I mean, he was like in that point he was, and then he also did stuff on the side with like Deep Purple as well. A lot of people don't realize that he was performing shows with Deep Purple. For what reason, I don't know. I've heard stuff which I will not allow anybody or anything to put Dio down on my channel. And if I was to repeat what I was told, it would be a knock on Dio. The whole Deep Purple Dio thing. I think it was a beautiful thing myself. When he was out there with Ian, and they were singing "Smoke on the Water" and stuff like that in front of the orchestra and the symphony and all that. I think that was great. I personally loved it. I know it's a set apart from what we're used to, but how do you beat Dio, man? I mean, come on. Ozzy tried for years and couldn't beat Dio. Oh, there it is. Shit. Anyway, you knew the gator was going to come out in a second. Anyway, Ronnie James Dio set the totem pole. He also did a thing, how they did the stuff for the people in Africa. He also did a similar thing for the people in Africa with a thing called "We're Stars." And it's all metalheads doing it. They raised a few $1 million with a single, and all the proceeds, I guess, went to the people in Africa to help feed Africa. Man, I'm drinking breaks do cut into the show. Anyway, Dio to me was the ultimate singer. And on the other scale, I go with Freddie Mercury. If you go the other way with it, the pendulum swings, back and forth. Well, this side's Dio, this side over here is Freddie, and in between you got Sully Erna. I mean, it's just Sully Erna, Bon Scott. Early on, Vince Neil, Axl Rose, Sammy Hagar. Those guys are right in the middle of that pendulum. But the guys who swing far right and far left side is definitely Freddie Mercury. Right side would definitely always be held by Ronnie James Dio. Got a new band out called Hu, H-U. And they're actually Mongolian young men. They do a phenomenal job. They have got one. It's called Wolf Totem. And check it out, man. It's good shit. They have one with a Justin Bieber type of dude. They can lose him, because they're trying to. I guess he's trying to say what they're saying, but he's not totally saying what they're saying. He's just throwing his own shit out there as well, and he's acting like a chimpanzee, jumping everywhere. Which that's why British rock is what it is now. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the end of whatever happens with this presidential campaign, because I feel once this is done, one way or the other, either candidate is going to have to deal with COVID, and they're going to have to release this vaccine. And then we can get back out there and we can start going to live shows again, putting on live shows. Me, myself, here at Defiance Illusion, we're putting together some shows to do on here for our audience, which we are trying to grow. So please tell your friends about us. Hit that like, please. And don't forget to hit that bell. That way you know whenever we're on or on live. Remember to check out Hobbs Horror. Very proud of my buddy. And Styles, my brother. I'm very happy to have him aboard. And also the Odin. Very proud of him as well. Pauline in Cincinnati, giving her a shout out. What's up, hon? Peace. Hope everything's well in Cincinnati. Saw the Christmas tree on your video. Gorgeous. Keep it up. Doing a great job down there. Scrap Dog, what's up? What's going on, Scrap Dog? But yeah, best wishes to everybody. Big D, everybody. I mean, this is the holidays, man. Life is short. If you have any bad feelings towards anybody, let it go. Just let it go. We're supposed to be about peace, love, and unity, in this country until another country comes along and disrupts that, and then we'll go kick their ass, and then we'll go back to peace, love, and unity amongst each other. As long as we got anyway. But back to Dio. Dio was so incredible in the studio. He just let his guitarist play whatever. He just say, go do it, go knock it out. Kind of like a David Coverdale. David Coverdale walks into a studio. They said he does one shot one time. Jorn is like that. He's another singer that can pull off. He's kind of in between a Ronnie James Dio and a David Coverdale. I mean, this guy's good. He does a lot of covers, but he does some originals too. But he's really good. I mean, check him out. His name is Jorn, Jorn. And he is definitely up and coming. But I'm not gonna give nobody no advice. I'm nobody give nobody advice. Just keep thumping away, man. That's all you can do. I have acquired a book about my ancestors' history, and I will be reading certain articles out of that, and it's about the Irish. Okay. Which I'm actually learning to speak the old language now. And I'm also going to learn to read and write it as well. So, and regardless of who wins the presidential election, there's things in our society that need to be handled. And all these people out here hating on white folks and black folks, ignore that stupidity. Just ignore stupid people. That's a person of ignorance. And if the government does anything for them, then we definitely got the wrong government in there. I don't care who it is. We should be loving each other and not hating each other. And we should always put God first. And as long as we do that, we cannot fail. Now, we as a country have got to pull together. We got to straighten out the welfare system, Social Security, our rights to keep and bear arms, our rights to have freedom of speech. Those are all in jeopardy right now because a very bad person is talking about taking a lot of that away. So watch what's going on with that. The entire party could get impeached before they even get to the first draw. Because that's busting the Constitution, which is highly illegal. And if the American people want the Supreme Court to rein in, the Supreme Court would rein in on the Constitution side. They always do. They always have, as far as I know. Okay, now with that being said, I'm thinking about trying to make some homemade wine, and like your feedback on who would like to see me try, and I'll videotape it. Now, I won't give my ingredients out and stuff, because if I do this, I'm going to do strawberry wine, and I'm going to do watermelon wine, and I might even do some hoo-ha while lighting, just for personal use. I'm not trying to do nothing to go to jail. So Um, yeah, it wouldn't be good. Um, but no, seriously. I mean, if you guys would like to see me do stuff like that, it wouldn't bother me. I get the little bit more equipment and I'll get it all hooked up and, I can start doing experiments and stuff. Who knows? Maybe you guys will see me blow some stuff up or something. I don't know. You put this in there, put that in there. Oops, too much. Boom. Kind of like those little chemistry sets that we used to get back in the 70s, And that was, oh, wow. I mean, that was some stuff there. I remember uh, creating a fire on accident. Didn't mean to. In my dad's shed in my hometown. Fire truck didn't have to show up. We got it out. But my dad pulled the chemistry. He pulled the chemistry kit after that. I did, and I couldn't blame him. I mean, I didn't know what it was. I'm just mixing stuff together and playing like I'm Doctor Who or something. I was just a kid. But yeah, you gotta watch out when you're mixing stuff. So read up on stuff. Also, I've started reading up on herbology. And there's a lot of herbs in Ohio that you can go out here and get that will help heal like your intestines and things. Now, I'm not recommending nothing to nobody. All I'm saying is if you're sick, find a herbologist while you're going to see your doctor, and then tell your doctor what the herbologist says and see if the doctor complies. Always go to that doctor and that surgeon first. Don't do nothing without their approval. My father has told me a story all my life about my grandfather going to see one of those cats. And they used to have them horse-drawn wagons, back in that day, down in Kentucky. And, he helped my grandfather. He did help my grandfather where doctors had written it off. He did help my grandfather. That's all I can say about that. I'm not going to go into great detail. Also, I have picked up some more Tolkien books. And I'm sorry, I get nervous when I read in front of people. So I pronounce certain things wrong, and I try. I try my best. Please forgive me if I read something in front of y'all and I say something wrong. It's just my nerves, because I get nervous thinking people's watching me or something, or they're going to watch it or something. You understand what I'm saying? We all have our little quirks, and that's mine. Reading in front of people. I can play guitar in front of people, but I can't read real well in front of people. But I am going to read The Story of Christmas. That will be coming out here shortly, and it will be at 8 p.m. whenever I do it. I was already scheduled it once, but I'm going to reschedule it. I might start in on it Monday night at 8 p.m. Might. So stay tuned and check us out. Also, I'm going to dive into some Ozzy-ish world with another video. Oh, and another thing about Dio and all the music from then to now, everything went through an entire change, musically, with the way people recorded, the way things were done, the people you answered to, the people you didn't have to answer to no more. The way the band worked, how they took people in to do the actual recording. I mean, back in my day, it was either you went in, the bass player and the guitar player went in together, or the guitarist and the drummer went in together. It was one of the two. And then the lead singer would come in, the guitarist would come in with the lead singer, in case the lead singer wanted more rhythm added to it or whatever. They had the guitarist handy there to stand in and start, do a little bit more with the rhythms and all that stuff, do a couple more change ups or whatever. And then they bring in the bass player and the bass line lays in and magic happens. So there you have it. That's, and of course you have your technicians and your mechanics and your artists also behind the paneling, which are as important as the band, because ultimately they have the say over what people hear and what they don't, And that's where the magic happens, is between the two. So, always remember that. It's like Godsmack, they're When Legends Rise, I absolutely love that song. Eye of the Storm, I think that they wrote that about my life. Uh, but a lot of the other music, I was kind of, it either felt Godsmack or it didn't feel like it was Godsmack. I don't know, it was a little different, but they've been going through a lot, so that's why. And prayers go out to Godsmack. Hopefully everything's okay, and Sully's the man. Women are coming on strong in metal music, which I was happy to see them pick up the ball and run with it. You have Floor Jensen from Nightwish, phenomenal front person, phenomenal. You also have Melissa Bonney. She's doing several things right now. I mean, she came out of nowhere all of a sudden, and she's in like 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to say she's in like 3 bands, and then the fourth part is she's doing stuff by herself as well. And it's more folky type stuff. So, yeah, she's really busy, and Melissa Bonney's a force to be reckoned with on that mic. If she could get a band like Dio had with Vivian Campbell, she would be making hits tomorrow. What she's doing right now is very impressive, but I feel there's so much more to her talent wise. Also, you have Straight Line Stitch. They're still out, pounding away. Very proud of that. Alexis, keep going. And then we have Cobra and the Lotus, Release the Archers. A couple more ladies are just absolutely phenomenal on the mic. And extremely talented. Oh, my God. So, yeah, I mean, but this stuff that I'm talking about right now, it's more progressive rock, like Nightwish is definitely progressive. It's more of the big band feel. I'm still an old Motorhead and Maiden type of guy. I like Iron Maiden. I always will. Big fan of Bruce Dickinson and all them. And I love Kiss. Paul Stanley's still the man, and so's Gene Simmons. I think they got 2 more albums left in them to myself, at least, with 2 more tours, at least in the U.S. and maybe a couple of, other places over across seas. I would love to see that happen. I would love to see Kiss stick around for a couple more, albums. Hopefully that'll happen, especially with this break that everybody's getting off the Corvino, whatever stuff. But, keep your social distancing, wear your masks. I know it's a pain in the ass right now, but keep your social distancing, wear your masks, get you a little bottle of that hand sanitizer, stick it in your pocket, keep one in your car as well, and get you some spray disinfectant, and conserve that stuff. Don't blow it, Get you 3 or 4 bottles of it for the house and get you a bottle of it for the car, and conserve that stuff. That's how we're going to beat this, is by keeping those germs killed. And respecting each other's distancing right now. I know I hate it too, but it's just the truth. When Donald Trump told everybody to distance themselves, put your mask on for a while, which he did, because he was worried about his Americans. We did, and things, but when they lifted all that is when all of a sudden cases started jumping through the roof again. So this stuff is really nothing to play with. Watch over each other. If you feel bad, go get checked out. Don't play with it. Go get checked out. That way they can cut it off before it becomes so critical that it can turn out in a bad way. If you're feeling bad or icky, go get checked out immediately. Don't let this thing take you down, is what I'm trying to say. Here at Defiance Illusion, we love y'all and we want to keep y'all around. But yes, let's watch over each other to a point. I mean, don't get nobody's business now. And remember, I know this is the funny season. What I mean by funny season, some people lose their minds and stuff. Don't do that. Go talk to a minister, go talk to the police, go talk to anybody. Let's stop the violence. Let's stop these gun shootings, because now you're affecting other people and their rights to keep and bear firearms and go hunting and fishing. You're affecting innocent people that's not done nothing wrong, and that's not right, and it's wrong. And Joe Biden has already announced, if what I've read on Facebook, which is debatable, if any of that is true, he's lost his ever loving freaking mind. Americans are not going to stand for that. Right off the bat, he'd be out of office. The entire Democratic Party would be in jeopardy. So, yeah. I'm trying not to go political here, but when you talk about hunting and fishing and things like that, he's literally going to cost people millions of jobs, and he feels he's justified in doing that. He's going to tear down a border wall that we paid for with our own tax dollars. How dare him do that? How dare you? That's not right. It's wrong, because America paid for that wall with hard-earned tax dollars. That's our money, son, not yours. And yes, you do work for us. Somewhere along the line, you forgot that. I saw that interview where you said you didn't work for American people. We work for you. No, Joker. No, you work for us, pal. But other than that, I mean, you try to look over the idiots and try to push on and do the right thing. But remember, if you get a bad feeling or whatever about somebody and you want to, hurt somebody physically or whatever, don't do that. Do not do it. Go talk to the police. Go talk to your minister or your priest or whoever. Go get help. Okay? Stop the violence. Just stop the violence. There's no excuse for it now. And I was told, so this is like third-hand information, so I don't know how true it is, but I was told the BLM has made some demands. And one of their demands was cut all people other than white people out of prison. And they're not allowed to detain or arrest anyone ever again that's darker than, I guess, white. Anybody. So I said, well, if they're going to release all the bad guys in prison, white or not, then they should be deporting them. If they're going to demand that, then the government will oblige them and say, okay, you thank, your BLM for this, and deport all of them and never let them come back into the country again. There's some bad dudes in prison, man. And we need to be leery of that. I mean, that's dangerous talk there. I mean, that's man, you don't want that. There's some bad dudes in prison. And for them to even bring that up and allow them to even say that and get by with it tells me that this country's in serious trouble right now. If a particular person goes in, I don't trust that person whatsoever, and I never will. But anyway, just remember, go talk to somebody. Don't lash out in hatred. Don't do that. There's ways to deal with. You don't have to hate. You don't have to get violent. You can call the police. That's their job. Let the police deal with the situations. If you feel like you're in danger, call the cops, call the police. Now if you're in your own home, of course you got to call the cops, but the cops should already know. Because I mean, if I was like where I'm at right now, I'm putting out extra measures now. I got surveillance 360 degrees all around my house. I've got squealers on all my windows. If you touch a window and you open it up, it screams and lets me know somebody's, if I'm in the tub or in a bed, sound asleep, it'll wake me up because somebody's trying to break in my house. I mean, them things are loud. Also, the police will be notified because it'll set off the Wi-Fi. And the Wi-Fi sends a signal to the police department, hey, this guy's being broke in on right now. And trust me, they will respond. So before you take matters into your own hands as a last resort, always try to go the alternative route by telling the police. If it's yourself, tell the police, and also go to your priest or somebody like that you can confide in. And that's what the police department is actually there for, to stop these things before they happen. They just don't do too good of a job of it because people don't trust them no more. So we need to work on our police and our community trust factor is what we need to be doing. Now, the police have held out the olive branch in several areas. I'm happy to see that. Now, we need to do the same. So support your local police department. Support the people who run your city. You may not agree with everything that they do or whatever, but try to make it work. And if it don't, move. Just move. And then put the word out about what they've done, once you're gone. Don't do it while you're living there, but once you're gone, then you can get on here and tell your story, and people will know better to go there then to deal with that particular person. Anyway, also something that needs to make a comeback, in my personal opinion, is personal gardening. You can go rent a parcel off of an old farmer somewhere. He'll till it for you, and you can get in there and you can plant your garden and plant a big enough garden where you put a bunch of stuff up for winter. That way, no matter what happens, because this economy is so shaky because they don't know who's president and who ain't. Every time they say Donald Trump's going to be president, economy starts to explode. Every time they say, well, Biden's sitting in there and he's supposed to be president, and then it comes back down. So it's like, okay, we see that now. We see who people are willing to work with and who people are not. They're willing to work with Trump. They're not willing to work with Biden. If they go work with Biden, they're just going to go to China. Trump lowered taxes on them, so they're willing to stay here and hire American people. Biden's already said he's going to, tax them to death. So yeah, they're going to leave. All of us are going to lose our jobs if Joe Biden gets in. Plain and simple, cut, bait, and callous. And I'm not trying to be political. I'm just telling the truth. There's a difference between being political and telling the truth. Politics is a lie within itself, and at best, it's like an old witch doctor, So you can't trust that. I don't trust none of what's going on right now with these ballot counts whatsoever, and nobody I've talked with trusts it. Nobody believes in it. It's ridiculous what they've done. But I was told that they did arrest George Soros. Now, whether that's factual or not has yet to be seen. I'll believe it when I see them bring him to the United States in handcuffs, chained, chained like a dog to a post. They need to get that guy, because they said that a lot of machines that he owned, when people voted for Trump, it went to Biden, and people are spitting mad right now. That's why the judges are standing up. More and more judges are standing up saying, we can't do this. We can't just shaft the American people because they're going to uprise. This is going to cause a problem. You got 70 million people saying Donald Trump won. Okay. That's a problem. I mean, that's over half the country. That's a problem. That's a big problem. So, but anyway, I don't like to talk that stuff. Um, Also, this year I'm going to be doing some paint by number things, and I will talk to you guys while I'm painting by number. I'm going to have my camera in my studio set up by that time. I've got some lighting coming in for my studio now, and I'm going to get an external camera for my um, computer wireless deal that I can hook up and have it across the room to get different angles, and a remote that I can have in my pocket so that I can, you guys can see me at different angles to see exactly what's going on with what I'm doing. And I'm going to do that with the shows too when we put on some of these Southern rock concerts from the living room and things, when we're all sitting around hee-hawing and jamming on the guitars and things like that this year. Because we got another year of this Corona thing, whatever it is, even with the shot that they say will kill it. We're going to have another year of being in the home. So be a good time to continue your education, and a great time to get back, maybe you need to start thinking about the Lord. I'm no preacher. I'm no judge. I'm no nothing. So that's between every individual and their personal beliefs. But you'll be surprised how many rockers are actually Christians. It'll drop your jaw if you heard half of them. I seen a poll out the other day I wanted to talk about. It was which is better, Megadeth's Peace Cells or Metallica's Black Album? And I was like, Peace Cells, because the Black Album was where Metallica sold out. I've heard Lars version. We sell out, sure do. Every Coliseum in the world. Not no more, but we. And James Hetfield, man, the older he gets, my gosh. Man, that dude is homely. He actually looks like the lion from The Wizard of Oz. I can't believe. Look at his face. Tell me I'm wrong. Leave me a comment. Tell me I'm wrong. James Hetfield looks like the cowardly lion from Wizard of Oz. And we need some new rockers, man. We in America, not just British, but we need some new rockers in America. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, but the rockers we need are between the ages of, I'd say, 60 down to about 40, maybe 35. They'd be older guys, but they have an ear that these millennials don't have. Millennials, they don't even play chords and they think it sounds good. I got some family that's millennials, and it's like, oh my God, how can you listen to that garbage? But anyway, this is Defiance Illusion. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I don't want this to turn negative or anything. And I've spoke what I wanted to speak about Dio, the late, great Ronnie James Dio. And I gave my personal thoughts. If you have different opinions, please post them. And I hope to hear from you all. Please tell your friends about us. Hit that bell. Subscribe. And please tell your friends about us. We're trying to grow our station back up here. So God bless. Y'all take care. Stay Dayton strong and peace out.